Hodgkin's lymphoma, or HL, first described by Thomas Hodgkins, is a cancer of the lymphatic system. Moreover, the lymph nodes the system contains. The lymphatic system has lymph, a clear fluid traveling through it, that carries waste and excess fluid from the tissues, white blood cells, and other immune system cells. This cancer is classified two ways, Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's. The difference is in the cells. To be classified Hodgkin's, Reed-Sternberg cells, duplications of a B cell that has undergone a hypermutation, needs to be present. If not, then the cancer's lymphatic infection is classified as non-Hodgkin's. This is Lauren Zala, who at the age of 24 was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. She is here to tell us her story.
Hodgkin's nodular sclerosis. It was stage 2A-E. I just had a lump above my collarbone. I had a series of blood work. I had a biopsy of the lymph node, and I had a bone marrow biopsy. Initial reaction, it was like awful, but my initial reaction was the first question I asked was if I was going to lose my hair. And I know it's like crazy to say that, but it was honestly like the first question I had because I didn't really understand what it was going to entail in treatment. Well, my dad's always worked, he actually works for a cancer center where that's what he's going to be was working at for a really long time, so it was really hard for him because he like as a patient there was really challenging. So I think it was really hard also because cancer doesn't run in my family, and so it's a very shocking diagnosis. I was put on a treatment plan of chemotherapy for 6 months and every 15 days. I changed my eating habits like pretty drastically, pretty much right after I was diagnosed because of, as like I said, cancer didn't run in my family or anything, so I was trying to correlate it, like why did this happen to me? And so I changed my eating habits. I was always pretty healthy as far as like active and working out, but mostly I just made a pretty drastic change on what I put in my body. A little bit. My mom's always been pretty into like health stuff. My dad, I think, was intrigued by like what I was doing, but I don't necessarily know that he totally changed. But I definitely think it made us more aware, like especially like trying to maybe take proactive measures to lead like a healthier lifestyle for sure. There was definitely like really like hard times like going through, like you feel really alone, you feel very isolated no matter like how many people you know like that get diagnosed with cancer like yearly, you definitely feel very like alone, especially at a young age. So I think there were dark times for sure, but I always knew that I wanted to like live, so there was never a question like where I wanted to give up. It was just more so like it got, depressing at times. I actually started scrapbooking when I was diagnosed. I found out that was like something fun for me to do because I would sit at home and rest after chemo, and I didn't really have a lot of energy to do stuff, so I started scrapbooking, and then I started obviously writing my book.
She had to face many new things in her life, such as new dating methods, as well as how to deal with her hair loss, and how to get through chemo treatments. They usually left her tired, with no energy, and no motivation. Yet her strong spirit and positive attitude contributed into helping her beat this cancer. At this part of her life, strong relationships were formed, such as the relationship between her friends, her peers, and her parents. One of those friends is Corey Brust, who is adding another perspective to the lymphoma cancer story.
My relationship with Lauren during the time of her Hodgkin's was we were roommates. We had been friends for about almost 10 years at that point in time. But at the time of her diagnosis and through mostly everything, I was her roommate. Honest answer. It was very It was very emotional, like the first word that comes. I had a specific job at the time that made me a little bit more relatable to what she was going through because of what I happened to be doing for work at the time. So it wasn't as probably shocking as it would have been maybe to our other friends, but it was definitely just really emotional, and I will always remember that night when Lauren walked into my room and told me that, you know, her parents had gotten a scan and it might be abnormal, and I just was like, there's no way. And it was really hard, and I think the hardest part for me was that we're both very controlling, and I wanted to help control her situation through you know, her treatment, her attitude, her emotions, and that was the hardest part, was just letting Lauren experience it the way that she needed to be. I think the biggest thing that I personally was just trying to be very careful of minding her feelings, and that this was a very crazy time in her life, and that I couldn't experience it the way that I innately was going to. I needed to experience it how Lauren was. And so I think my biggest thing was really just being careful. I wanted, you know, Lauren to be happy, and nothing else mattered at that point in time than Lauren just staying sane and staying happy and everything being as normal as possible. So my goal was just to be careful to play off, you know, whatever Lauren's mood was that day, and, you know, not make every day about cancer and her treatment, but at the same time never minimize that was something extraordinarily impactful in Lauren's life at the time. Lauren was very lucky that she had a very strong family support system. Her brother and sister would come in from California as often as they could. Her parents were always by her side. So it was one of those things where it was very much a family-oriented experience. It was definitely interesting to see everything through Lauren's perspective as a patient. I had seen it kind of as a staff member working with oncology, but I'd never seen it directly from the patient's view. So it was really interesting to just see from your perspective of just being, you know, completely, you know, hit in the head with something that's so monumental, and then just seeing it kind of work its way out. And, you know, when Lauren just had one of her last really big important scans, it was crazy to kind of see everything, you know, almost come full circle with the actual 5-year remission. Let them be them. I would go toe-to-toe with Lauren about how she needed to act and how she needed to feel, and just let them be them. They can be completely normal, they can be completely irrational, they can be completely emotional, all in an hour time span. Just let them do them. Be there, don't not be there for them, but you gotta just let things run their course, how they're gonna be for that person. How you would personally go through cancer is not like how anyone else is going to go through it, and that's another big thing that I learned, that it's such a personal thing. There's a lot of things we all kind of go through as people, but I feel like cancer is one of those specific things that's going to run its course for that person.
Despite cancer's setback in her life, Lauren made it through treatment and is currently in remission. Since last November, she has been cancer-free for 5 years. With a strong spirit, she moved on and accomplished many things, such as finding a perfect man and leading a happy life. After this long and trying experience, she wrote a book about her journey. Full of wit, humor, and sarcasm, you can find Lauren's spirit in every page and witness a bit of what it's like to live with cancer. In her book, under About the Author section, she states, "The experience allowed me to learn so much, not only about the disease itself, but about the life and the life I wanted to live. After my diagnosis, I was quick to learn that life is short and never should be taken for granted."